If you can give me the next 10 minutes of your time, I think I can change your whole perspective on witchcraft. And hopefully by the end of this video, you'll be practicing a little bit more magic every single day. I'm Laura and this is a little bit more magic. And if the algorithm has been teasing you on the witchy crystal manifestation side of social media, then you are absolutely in the right place. I'm a practicing witch. I've only been practicing for about 4 months now. This isn't about me teaching you. This is about us learning together, one spell at a time, one candle at a time, one moon phase at a time. We're going to do it together, and I love sharing everything that I'm learning along my journey. So grab a cup of tea, light a candle, and let's bring a little bit more magic into your everyday life. I honestly don't think witchcraft is what most people think it is, and I spent for a long time, I've always had my cards read. I've always been like very spiritual. I remember when I was really young, I'd always had like witchy, like aura books and crystal books out of the library and renew them over and over again, like trying to get to grips with it all, but it just wasn't clicking. And then I just grew up thinking that you are generally born into witchcraft, but honestly, it is intuitive. We have all got it in us. And those everyday things that seem so mundane and boring right now can feel so magical and special. It's not about cauldrons, but it can be if you want it to be. It's not about black robes. It's not about worshipping. It's not evil. It is just beautiful, beautiful, everyday little things that honestly, if you had told me 6 months ago, I'd be sat here talking to you about this, I would never have believed you. I had severe anxiety, I had postpartum depression. I was in a hole that I never honestly thought I would get out of. And magic and manifestation and everyday rituals have pulled me out of that. And I honestly know in myself that I will never go back to that deep, dark place that I was in. So let me change your perspective on witchcraft actually is. So when you hear the word witch, you obviously think like brooms, black cats, hocus pocus, all of like the Hollywood stuff. But honestly, it is the mundane. It is having a bad day and lighting a candle and talking what has happened through with that energy, because fire is energy. When you get into all of this, you realize that everything is energy. It is about not rushing around. It's about slowing down. It's about making your cup of tea or coffee in the morning with intention, talking your intention for the day into your drink, drinking it. It is staying with you all day, not walking over 3 drains, blowing out birthday candles. These things are all things that have come from folklore traditions that we have in our everyday life that we don't even categorize as witchcraft, but they are. You're making a wish or blowing out a candle. That is witchcraft. As a girlie with ADHD, witchcraft absolutely satisfies the kind of hyperfixation. I think probably for the rest of my life, in all honesty. One of the biggest shifts for me was realizing that everyday magic doesn't have to be like big rituals, big spells. It can basically be like walking through the woodland and noticing the seasons change, watching the sunset instead of scrolling on your phone. It is about being present. It's about moving with intention. If you are doing all of those things, you are doing witchcraft, but you don't need to call yourself a witch. And these little habits will completely transform your life, because honestly, I was so ungrateful for where I lived. I didn't appreciate anything in my life. I was so negative. And by having that mindset switch of just the gratuity and opening my eyes and being more present and moving with intention, it has changed my life, and it definitely can change yours as well. If you are a baby manifester and you want to make that strong, learning how to work with your energy will make your manifestation so much stronger. Now, there are certain categories that witches can go into. I don't like to categorize myself. This girl does not belong in a box, but there's like green witches, there's crystal witches, there's moon witches. I work with all sorts of things. I'm really connected to the moon. I have always had my period on the full moon and on the new moon, so I'm about like 15 days like in between my cycle, and I didn't realize that until I really started looking into the moon cycles, which is something I've worked with for a while, but only the full moon, whereas now I work with all full moon cycles. You're cooking your dinner, you're making spaghetti bolognese, you're putting your herbs in, learning what those herbs correspond to with kind of like spiritual meaning and things like that. You can literally say your intentions into your dinner. Witchcraft has brought me so much joy, so much curiosity. I'm learning so much more. I'm so much more present. My mental health has improved 1,000,000%. Tracking the moon cycle reminded me that the world is constantly changing and we are constantly evolving. Going for a walk turned into grounding myself for the beginning of the day, or at the end of the day, depending on like what's happened. Blowing the candle out at the end of the day and just having that as a finish line for whatever has gone on that day as well is so therapeutic. And none of those things are magic in themselves. My whole experience with those things changed because I became so much more mindful of what I was doing and I was being present. And maybe whilst you've been watching or listening to this, you're still thinking, I'm not really sure if that's for me. That's absolutely okay. You don't need to go and buy loads of crystals. You don't need to make an altar. You don't need to be worshipping goddesses if you don't want to be. If that is something you want to do, there is so much more on this channel coming to talk you through those processes as well. But just start living with a little bit more intention, being present, looking around when you're walking outside, making your intentional cup of tea, cup of coffee, speaking that intention into it, drinking it. It just sets you up for the day. And that is honestly where the real magic begins. If you are still here and you are still watching, have I changed your perspective at all about magic, about witchcraft? and really how it isn't what the movies portray. Magic isn't about changing the world around you, it's about changing your experience whilst you're in the world that we are living in currently. And it's not about escaping reality, it's just about falling back in love with your reality. If you find something on the ground, say thank you. If there's a stone that looks like it's a bit out of place, it might be there for you. Pick it up, take it home, see what energy you can read from it, but always say thank you to whatever it is that you're taking from the natural world. If you're curious to learn more about witchcraft, spirituality, manifestation, then I'd love for you to subscribe to this channel. There'll be a lot more content coming, and it's all about us learning together. And honestly, I'd love to know in the comments, if you're still here at this point, what does magic really mean to you?